Welcome, cousins, to another session of Honest Talk About Women, where you'll learn tips, tricks, and strategies on how to navigate the minefields of dating and relationships. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also comment in the comments section. If you have a story you want to share with viewers, you can contact me. My email address listed below. Today we have a viewer's story, so let's get underway. Me, male 36, and my best friend, male 36, have been best mates since kindergarten. However, as the years have progressed, I'm slowly drifting away from him as he continuously flirts with every woman he comes across, especially married women. He even coaches a soccer team so that he can get on friendly terms with the soccer mums. Recently I had an engagement party and my best friend turned up, and also a very good work colleague called, I'll say on this instance, Tom, who is a very placid, gentle type of guy. He brought along his very attractive and beautiful wife to the party. I could see my best friend talking to Tom's wife as Tom was out on the balcony on his phone talking. So I decided to go up to my friend and ask him to come aside for a while. And I told him under no circumstances whatsoever is he to flirt with my work colleague's wife. However, 2 weeks later, Tom called saying that his wife had been acting very strangely since our engagement party, and that he'd gotten control of her cell phone and saw texts to a guy where they had exchanged nude photos. Tom was very concerned that his wife was having an affair. Immediately after the phone call with my work colleague, I phoned my best friend and exploded. He just listened to my rant and then I hung up on him. He has been my best and only friend since day one and has always been loyal and around for me. I have no concerns about my fiancée having an affair with him, as she was approached by him when I didn't know her and took an instant dislike to him and told him he has 𝗪𝗛 syndrome and to grow up. Am I doing the wrong thing, abandoning my friend after 32 years of friendship? Oh, thanks for sending this in. This is not an uncommon scenario, guys. Just firstly, for those that don't know what the 𝗪𝗛 syndrome is, it's basically men or adults that haven't grown up. They're still in their childhood years. So even though they're an adult, they're acting like a child. So as I've said in all my videos, guys, married women are off bounds. It's a big no-no. So you just don't go down that path. And I've mentioned that many times over in other videos. So the best way to handle this is just have an honest chat with your best friend. Some people call it a fireside chat. Others call it a car park talk. I just call it an honest talk. You need to sit down and tell them that as people change and go through different decades, they also change. And most people upgrade their moral compass. And some people continue on with no moral compass from their childhood right into their adult years. So it's time that your friend needs to go to the next level of maturity, understanding, and sensibility in terms of relationships, rather than being a marriage wrecker. So as the decades go on, guys, things change, and you've got to change with the decades. And it may be funny doing it in your youth, having an affair, which I strongly recommend you don't do, but things can be funny when you're at a certain age, and they're not so funny as you get older. In terms of examples on how things change, and you need to change with the decades, is smoking. I remember when I was at high school in my 80s, it was cool to smoke, and you saw all the Hollywood movies with masculine guys smoking Camel cigarettes or whatever they were back then. And it was cool to smoke at high school, and I myself got hypnotized by that coolness and smoking at school. But as the years went on, there were studies that came out that showed that it correlates to lung cancer, direct correlation. So I wasn't a full-time smoker. It was just like a party smoker at high school. But anyway, gave it away. And for those that continue on smoking and disregarded the science, some of them developed lung cancer and had a early life. So you got to change, guys, as new facts, new things come forward. Same as drinking. It was quite cool to drink excessively in the 90s, the group I was hanging out with. But as the decades go on, alcohol catches up with you and it can pull you right down. And some people can change and reduce their alcohol consumption, such as myself. Others continue on and they just get fat, bloated, pot belly, and go downhill because alcohol can control you. It's quite interesting. Certain government departments do tests on the water from sewage plants, and they try to track hardcore drugs like methamphetamine and heroin and things like that, but also alcohol. And they've noticed that alcohol consumption is decreasing over the last 5 years from doing tests from what goes into the sewage network. So alcohol consumption is definitely on the down in this neck of the woods. I'm not too sure if that's a worldwide trend. I know it is happening in other countries. But they also can establish what suburbs do the highest amounts of hardcore drugs like methamphetamine and heroin. Anyway, that's a side note. Let's get back to it. And it's the same as relationships. It's quite funny, or quite perceived to be quite cool at the time, to flirt with people in your youth. But as you get older and you want to progress into being a family man, things change and your moral compass closes too, gets narrower and stronger. So I had a very similar example to this. I also had a friend who bragged a lot how he could have a different girlfriend every weekend, and if you went to the pub with him, he'd be walking away with a woman in the early 20s. He would have, back then he was in his mid 30s. And he was bragging about it, but in some instances he also suffered Peter Pan syndrome. He didn't want to make the transition to adulthood. And I remember when I was getting quite serious with my first wife, to become engaged and get married and start having a family, he kept on saying to me, "You're not going to abandon me, Scott, are you? You're not going to abandon me," because in some ways I was his wingman when we went out. But I changed. I went down the family route and have no regrets about it, or do it again. Kids are great. But as for my friend at the time, he didn't want to change, and he continued on doing that. And it's a very short, narrow sort of outlook on life if you follow that track. And in this situation with this guy who's had a friend for, I think it was 32 years, kindergarten buddies, they went right through primary school, intermediate, middle school, high school, and they've been best buddies ever since. But he, the person who wrote this article, is moving on to becoming engaged and married, and hence most likely kids. And his best mate is still playing the field and flirting, and especially flirting with married women. And it's a big no-no. So what this viewer needs to do is have an honest conversation with his best mate and say, look, we've had a lot of fun together. We've known each other since I think I was 4 years old. And I'm now moving into a different track. I'm engaged now. I'm going to get married, most likely have kids. You seem to still be playing the field and also being a marriage wrecker, flirting with a married woman. It's a big no-no. If we're going to continue on with our great friendship, then please drop that, because I can't handle it anymore. And give him an ultimatum. And friends come and go, so don't be surprised if he doesn't change and is set in his ways and continues on doing that. It's a very short-sighted sort of life he's got, but hopefully he'll change and come around to reality. Most people do over time come around to reality and see the benefits of being sensible, and how you can have a more rewarding life being sensible, and hopefully you'll continue on being friends into the future. So hope you got something out of it. For those that are also watching, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you've got a story you want to share with viewers that could help other men, please email me below on my email address. Until next time, have a good one.